From the banks of Dewey Lake, it's the Dewey Pod Monster.
Welcome back. My name is John, and this is the Dewey Pod Monster Podcast. This is your weekly podcast about consumption. We are, of course, proud members of the You Run Podcast Network. You can find all of our old episodes, all of our upcoming episodes, and all of the other great shows on the You Run Podcast Network at yourunpodcast.com. With me this week, he's the host of the Dewey Pod Monster Podcast, and his name is Sean. And Sean, how are you this wonderful evening?
John, that's a lot of pressure.
That's good. I got an intro for someone else here. Anyway, we have a guest with us today. His name is Greg, and Greg is the Crust king of commentary. Greg is the quick-witted, nostalgia-loving co-host of the You Gonna Eat That Crust podcast. He's got hot takes, hilarious stories, zero filter when it comes to pop culture, childhood memories, and anything that's weird. If it's absurd, Greg has something to say about it, and he's here with us today. Greg, how are you doing?
What an intro. I feel right at home, like that was Ryan or something.
It's almost like he had it memorized. But he didn't.
I have written painstakingly to do that.
Yeah.
Greg, how are you doing today?
I'm doing awesome. Thanks for having me on. A huge fan of the show. I love your show. I mean, it could use some more didgeridoos. I think it needs an army of didgeridoos.
You're not wrong.
Agreed.
You are absolutely not wrong. Greg, do you want to take a second and tell people about You Gonna Eat That Crust? I know we've talked about it a couple times, and I've been on your show twice.
Yeah, soon to be three times.
2, 3, 10. I don't know how many. I can't count. Greg, tell us about You Gonna Eat That Crust.
Yeah, we're like a potpourri. We do anything from movie reviews to true crime to discussing whatever. We've been friends forever, and we're super pumped to be part of the You Run Podcast Network. It's been awesome making connections with all these cool podcasts, and check us out. We're just three fellas having a good time, you know?
Well, I'm glad to hear that. There's nothing like three fellas having a good time at the same time.
You know?
That's usually the best way to do it. And before we get started, I asked a question to whoever wanted to answer it earlier. Just if anyone had any questions for you, we're going to use it as an icebreaker because I only got one response.
Oh.
It was from this guy. He's kind of aggro. Occasionally he talks about like the 80s and the 90s. His name's Justin. He hosts a show that I've heard you go on once in a while, and he wants to know, why the hell do you antagonize him about Forrest Gump all the time? Keeping in mind that I convinced him to come onto this show to talk about Forrest Gump.
I think Forrest Gump is a gem of a movie. I love it. It's a roller coaster of emotions, you know? It's fun. It's happy. It's got Lieutenant Dan. I mean, the wave alone, I could just do the wave all the time. I love it. So I'm sorry. I love...
I like how you just summarized Forrest Gump in gift form, basically.
I love that, and I love Hook, you know? Sue me.
And I'm not going to sue you for it. It might be questionable, but I'm not going to sue you on it. But we're not here to talk about Forrest Gump. We're here to talk about a little movie called Dewey Cox, or more accurately, Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox Story. This is only the second comedy movie we've done on this show, so in an effort to continue to alienate our audience, we're going to talk about this movie, because I don't know if that's what they come to our show for, but I don't really care. We start our little chats about movies with a third-party review, and this week our third-party review comes from Larry, and Larry says, this movie needed to be punched. 3 stars out of 5. That's it.
That's not bad for wanting to punch a movie.
Yeah.
3 out of 5.
I thought it was pretty succinct and to the point. Sean, what is Dewey Cox all about?
Okay, so for that, we go over to this website. It's called imdb.com, and we type in the words Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox Story. It brings up a movie. It's from 2007. It gets a rating of an hour and 36 minutes. It gets 6.8 out of 10 with only 80,000 ratings, but it is, weirdly enough, on the popularity scale. It's at 3083, which is up 635 out of some other number. Never sure which one that is, but we go to the storyline of the plot. Again, another thing that we don't ever know what it is, but they wouldn't put it on top. They didn't want it read first. It says singer Dewey Cox overcomes adversity to become a musical legend. If we scroll on down...
Like the shortest summary for this movie that you could possibly write.
This could be a short episode with all these really short summaries. This storyline comes care of Sony Pictures. So this is straight from the horse's mouth. It says the up and down and up again story of musician Dewey Cox, whose songs could change a nation. On his rock and roll spiral, Cox sleeps with 411 women, marries 3 times, has 36 kids, stars in his own 70s TV show, collects friends ranging from Elvis to the Beatles to a chimp, and gets addicted to and then kicks every drug known to man. But despite it all, Cox grows into a national icon and eventually earns the love of a good woman, longtime backup singer Darlene.
Greg, I'm guessing you've seen the extended cut of this, the 2-hour version of this movie.
I've seen the extended Cox.
The extended Cox. I'm guessing that based off the fact that you're the one who requested this movie and kind of demanded that you come on to chat with us about it, and I'm all for that.
Held you hostage.
That's actually, for future reference, anyone listening, that's a pretty good way to get on the show. It's just demand it along with a request. That's happened more than once. Sean, I think I know the answer here. Did you watch the 2-hour cut or the 1.5-hour cut?
I watched the 2-hour cut.
Okay, that's good because I don't remember exactly where the differences are between the two.
It's at least 24 minutes different.
It is, and I know part of it's supposed to be in the 70s and the variety show, but that's fine. I'm glad you saw the longer version because you need to get all the cocks that you can handle.
I'm going to take all the cocks I can get.
Speaking of cocks, Sean, do you want to tell us real quick the cliff notes of who's in this movie? I mean, we'd be here all day if you talk about everyone in this movie, but who's worth mentioning as far as like main cast, I guess?
Yeah, I'm not going to go into every person that makes an appearance because this is kind of like a who's who of mid-2000s like comedy stars and stuff, but we're just going to say John C. Reilly as Dewey Cox. It's been in a ton of stuff. I got my Dr. Steve Brule shirt on today, nice. If y'all can see. He's been in a ton of shit. We've got Jenna Fischer, who plays Darlene, again, been in a lot of stuff. Slither being one of my favorite things. We got Raymond J. Barry playing Pa Cox, who we just talked about in Rapid Fire. We got Kristen Wiig, who plays Edith, Dewey's first wife, and she's a Saturday Night Live alum. She's been in a ton of stuff. Tim Meadows, another Saturday Night Live guy. He plays Sam. And then I'm going to just kind of round it out with Harold Ramis, who plays one of the record executives. He's been in a ton of stuff. I was going to say like, oh, he plays one of the Jews. He's been in a ton of stuff. And we talked about him in Ghostbusters. I think that's the only thing we've covered that Harold Ramis has been in, but he's also a director and all that good stuff.
Shit.
I think so.
We're going to have a Harold Ramis month.
Yeah, maybe. If we had Gary Busey, I mean, geez.
You need more Harold Ramis.
We've already got Charles Bronson queued up for the next theme month, but, you know, Harold Ramis, you're on the back burner now. Greg, you're our guest, and we appreciate that, so I want to start with you. How did you find the cocks that walk hard?
Well, I feel like I've been searching for the Cox all my life, and I finally came across the Dewey Cox. I watched it pretty much when it came out, and like I loved it instantly. I love stupid comedies, admittedly though. So you know the Anchormans and just the Spaceballs and just the spoof comedies, they speak to me. And if you're a fan of music or a musician, I don't know. This movie and Pop Star to me are like my favorite spoof comedies. I absolutely love them.
That's understandable. Sean, is this your first watch with this, or is this one that you'd seen before?
No, actually, this is my first watch.
Somehow I'm less than surprised.
I'm like always the guy when, we talk about movies and we bring somebody on. They're like, yeah, so how many? Child's Play 2, Child's Play, the first time I'd ever seen either of those, like all that shit. So it should be of no surprise that this is the first time I've seen this movie. And I'm not lying. That's the absolute God's honest truth. I was too busy watching, Black Devil Doll from Hell and all the shit that we talk about to watch Dewey Cox. So.
Rad.
I mean, I'm living proof that you can do both. I'm just saying. So,
well,
did you have any preconceived notions about the Dewey Cox story?
I can tell you the reason I didn't ever watch this, and it was I really enjoy John C. Reilly, but this poster, like of him, the shirtless poster of him with the clueless look on his face, I just wanted to punch that poster like every time I saw it. So I just avoided the movie because of that. But I've heard like the sound clips, I've heard, quotes from it ad nauseum, and I always find them funny. I just had never seen it.
So for me, I remember seeing this on opening night. I was one of like 5 people in the entire country that saw this on opening night. And to be perfectly honest, I don't know how I ended up in that theater because I wouldn't have called myself a big John C. Reilly fan before this movie. I didn't have anything against him, but he's not like someone that I seek out necessarily. I definitely don't despise him. I always kind of liked him, but I always saw him as kind of like Will Smith, but like a better dumb version of Will Smith. Will Smith. Will Smith is a little weird.
I was gonna say that's a weird.
Will Smith, Will Ferrell, same thing.
Oh, okay.
But this is one of 2 movies I can think of where I damn near fell out of my seat laughing in the theater. I absolutely fell in love with it. The other is coincidentally also a comedy musical, but I fell in love with this from the minute that it came out. The second that I saw the exorbitant, extra long cut of the movie. I was like, well, I'm buying that. This, as far as the comedy genre goes, has been pretty high up there for me for quite some time as well. So I was kind of thrilled that Greg suggested that we watched it, because you can't say no to a request. You can tell me no, but you can't say no to a request. Mostly. You can put it off for a while.
Have we ever said no to a request?
Not when we've been recording. Not when we've had microphones on us.
I don't know what that means, but I'll take it.
With that in mind, Greg, what are some of the things that you enjoy about Mr. Cox and his dewiness?
Well, first off, the music. I love the soundtrack. The soundtrack is excellent. I'll listen to it sometimes on Spotify just for a laugh. And some of the songs are great. Some of like the slow songs are excellent. It took me a few years to realize they were just like different versions of other songs stolen. Like I was like showing my boss this song. I was like, "Oh, this is a great song." He's like, "This is like an Elvis Costello song." I was like, "Oh, no shit." So the music, the cast, like the cameos from like Harold Ramis to Ghostface Killer, the whole band was fucking hilarious to me. Like I love Chris Parnell. He can do no wrong for me. And I've always been kind of a big fan of John C. Reilly. I think he's pretty, he's a great drama actor, or at least side character. He's not really a lead, but he's got good comedy chops as well too, in my opinion.
I totally agree with you about the soundtrack and the songs that they chose, and I don't care that they're ripped off, because everything's ripped off of everything. I mean, this whole movie's ripping off.
Yeah, Walk the Line.
Well, it's ripping off like a million different documentaries, and pretty much every fictional character is a interpretation of an actual person that they just kind of shoehorned in there and so on. But I think for what this movie is and what kind of movie it is, rip off or not, I think you can actually tell there was some thought that went into crafting the songs in this movie, especially from a lyrical standpoint, and it really flows. Sean, how about you? Did you enjoy anything with this movie, or are you going to be totally pissed off at us?
No, I fucking hated. No, I'm kidding. I really liked. I just like the movie that it used this kind of. This sounds negative, but I don't mean it this way. It has kind of a paint by numbers, like music biopic feel to it. Like you mentioned, some documentaries that you may have seen, like about making the album of I don't know, any musician. Think of anybody who they do those kind of documentaries about, like a Miles Davis or somebody, right? They're like, they go behind the scenes and they kind of have some of that footage, and it kind of plays along the character falls into darkness and he brings himself out, and then he falls. I mean, I mentioned it in the synopsis, or the storyline, whatever it was, but it's like, it goes back and forth, up and down, up and down. He goes, he gets involved in drugs. He's kind of naive at first, the whole redemption story, and then he falls back into it, and it's just fun across the board.
All the blankets saved his life.
He needs more and less. I like how on the nose this is at what it's ripping off and what it's spoofing. Yeah. You mentioned some of the like obvious things that it's like parodying and kind of knocking off. I like that it doesn't hide from that. It doesn't try to be more than what it is. It's almost heavy-handed with what it's ripping off. Like the more blankets scene is straight out of the Ray Charles movie. There's a lot of this that's straight out of the Johnny Cash movie. There's so many things that they're parodied in like, it's not like a scary movie, or like even Spaceballs, or one of these other spoof movies that have come out that are all fine in their own right, or to great in their own right. It's almost like heavy-handed, and like you almost have to know what they're parodying, like, because if you didn't watch the Ray Charles movie, you would think it's just a generic, like, fucked up rehab scene or something like that.
Or they just take the joke too far or something, but it's mocking something else.
So I think it's really well done, and they walk this really good line of being heavy-handed, but also being stupid and obvious at the same time, which is kind of the line. They do, but that's a different movie, so they walk hard. I also like John C. Reilly's delivery on goddamn near everything that every line that he delivers is just with like pinpoint accuracy. It's great. And one of the things that's stupid and all, like, I'm a fan of these like mockumentary biopic movies with musicians, especially if I'm interested in the musician. But one of the things I love that they do is they just like totally shit all over how they show the writing process for these musicians in these movies. I know the Queen biopic came out well after this, my wife's a big Queen fan, so we had to go see that on opening night too. And there's a scene where they go and write Bohemian Rhapsody, and he's like, "Oh, just want a fucking song where the fans can sing along with." And he starts stomping his feet and stuff. I'm like, yeah, I'm 100% sure that's how Freddie Mercury came into the writing process. Is he started stomping his feet because he wanted people to sing. Fuck off. But I like how, like, every song is just him, like, having a brain fart moment, like, epiphany, where he's all of a sudden got this, like, mega hit. I think that's really subtle and really good a really good jab at this little genre that they're spoofing.
I thought it was excellent when they were in the studio recording Walk Hard, and like nobody's ever heard it, and all of a sudden like Chris Parnell starts singing like back up to the song, and they're like going along perfect with it.
Yeah.
It just fucking kills me every time.
It's hilarious when that scene starts and he's singing That's Amore.
Yeah.
It's like a cover of That's Amore, and it's like this, I don't know, like 50s, 60s, kind of early 60s teeny bopper version of That's Amore.
Right.
And he's like, this is the worst version of That's Amore I've ever heard. And he's like, well, I got the song. And like Greg said, everybody just knows the song. They just follow along. You know, it's like they'd heard it 5,000 times, like they practiced it, but they'd never heard it. And it's just hilarious the way that they kind of branch out from that.
You have shaken my belief in Judaism.
I do like Harold Ramis's "Walk Hard" as he just tries to put as much Hasidic sound on it as he possibly can. It hits. I mean, we could probably gush about this for a while. At least I could. I'm guessing Greg could. Sean, do you have any other major points that you want to say that you like if we do another round of likes?
Well, I mean, I like the fact that, you know, when we think about this movie, 2007, right? Is that what I said when it came out? It came out in 2007. Really, the only big music biopics that had come out at this point was like Ray and the Johnny Cash one, Walk the Line. And we got like 3 a year, basically, at this point of, you know, we have Elton John, we have Queen, we've had Bob Dylan like 2 times now. I think they've done 2 Bob Dylan biopics.
Well,
and they're not
too many.
Yeah, and they're not stopping, right? So it's like you think of this movie in retrospect and you think like, oh yeah, they were just making fun of this whole thing. They were totally making fun of it, but it's still totally like it still makes a lot of sense because they're still making these fucking movies. And it's still hilarious. Even like for me, going back like almost 20 years, right? 20 years after this is made, and it still makes so much sense because they're still making these fucking movies. And there's still these paint by number movies that they're doing, but it's almost like this is still spoofing those movies, you know?
It's interesting you brought up the Bob Dylan ones specifically because I don't remember what it's called, but I think it came out last year, maybe the year before that. I think a lot of these, like the Elton John one's a good example. It almost feels like it's parodying Dewey Cox because it's the same beats and the same story, just with Elton John
formula
instead of Dewey Cox. Yeah, it's the same.
They plugged
formula.
in the Elton John shit instead of Dewey Cox.
Right. Now, this wasn't necessarily a good movie. I can't remember the actual title of it, but one of the Bob Dylan ones that came out, they don't do exactly that. They focus on 2 points of his life and try to interweave the story based off of that, as opposed to showing all the ups and all the downs and making it this, you know, exaggerated, long as fuck, you know, not Dewey Cox enough Dewey Cox story. So it does feel like there's a handful of documentaries or whatever music biopics that are out there that kind of saw Dewey Cox and tried to learn from it. And there's others that just plunge right along with the same fucking sewage.
Well, even like something like Inside Llewyn Davis, you know, that's a fictional character,
right?
Just like Dewey Cox. That's not a parody, but that's still like it's not like a biopic in the traditional sense, but it's a Coen Brothers version of that kind of it's like a Bob Dylan analog, like a folk singer kind of thing. And, you know, I don't know. This like almost built it plays on the formula that those first couple movies did, and then wrote what the formula should be, which is genius. You know, that they could do that with a movie, and they were spoofing the whole thing.
Goddamn spoofs.
Yeah.
Greg, do you got any other positives you want to mention before we slip the other way?
Yeah, so I just want to say I love the parents. The father and the mother kill me, like when she's dancing. He's like, Dewey, your music kills people. Like I'm just watching Justified with my girlfriend again, and they're both in Justified as well, but he's the father in Justified, and I can never think of him other than the father of Dewey Cox. Like, so he's always in my head that way. And then the montage scene with Jenna Fischer and Dewey Cox kind of coming together, and they're singing their songs, and she's kind of like flirting with him and teasing him a little bit, like all those little interactions, fucking, whether it be when they're like licking their ice cream or like, you know, pounding the hammer and the nail and shit. Just, I don't know, good stuff, good writing.
That's amore.
This amore. I have to say, like, on the relationship between Dewey and Darlene, I laugh my ass off at it every time when they first get married.
Yeah,
and
she walks in on him.
Edith shows up.
Yeah.
I don't care about Edith. Like, that's fine. I just love that, like, she storms out. He's like, well, she's gone now. And he just tries to go right back to... I was like, that is the perfect response, because I don't know any actual male that wouldn't be like, well, I got to finish what I started here. So I think that's brilliant. And I know this line is inherently stupid, and I don't care. Like, I will always laugh my ass off this line every time that I hear a doctor say, this is a particularly bad case of being cut in half. It's a stupid line, but it lands every time for me. And you could probably go on like a rampage of just quoting great lines out of this movie, because they are all kind of dumb. Amazing. They're all kind of like GIF worthy almost, but there's a million of them. They're just fucking great.
Well, just to piggyback off that scene you're talking about with the when she's cheating on him, or when they get married first, like when he does the little horse noise, he's like, I'm ready for sex. And then when Edith comes in, he's like,
after he takes a shit.
Yeah. And when Edith comes in, he's like, oh, and you? I forgot. Like that. I just love that line. It's so stupid.
Yeah. Before we get into negatives, Greg, what are your favorite cameos in this movie? You just do at least one, no more than 3.
I love.
There's like 50 of them.
Yeah, I love the Craig Robinson. Like, no, I'm the one you want. Like, I love that. I love the Beatles, and then just the band. The band is so fucking good. Matt Besser, Chris Parnell, Tim Meadows, and you never once paid for drugs. Like, I think Tim Meadows is underrated.
Yeah. He just keeps bringing that up, like it over and over. Like everybody else is upset that, you know, Matt Besser's upset that he slept with his wife, and Parnell's upset that, I don't know, it's like unrequited love.
Yeah, he slept with him.
Meadows is just like, you never once offered to pay for drugs.
Sean, how about you? Do you have any favorite cameo or two in this?
I think Jack White as Elvis is...
I knew it.
Yeah, it's amazing. You know, I mean, it's a Detroit connection for us. So it's, I don't know. He just plays that so well. And I didn't know that he was in the movie, so I didn't know that he was Elvis.
I intentionally did not bring it up to you for that reason, because I didn't want to tell you any of these cameos that pop up.
I'm not like a huge Jack White guy either. You know, so I'm
not either.
So it's it's not like fanboyism by any means, but when I was wondering who was going to play Elvis, because there's a scene early, just for the audience, if you haven't seen this like me, Dewey Cox gets elevated to the headliner of this concert, and he gets put up ahead of Elvis. Needs to, what does he need to leave because he wants to
eat.
Yeah, he's hungry.
Yeah. Elvis is hungry.
But he's still going to have the Big Popper and Buddy Holly on ahead of him.
And he comes off stage and he's just fucked up. He's like he's already on something. And he comes off and he's threatening Dewey with all these karate moves, and he's going to like chop him in the neck and all these things. And Jack White just plays it. Like it's almost like he was born to play this role. I think I don't know if he's been in anything else. Like, I don't know if he's been in any other movies or not, but he's actually really good as Elvis. It's a hilarious scene. And there's like, at the end, there's like this montage of all the things that Dewey has, all the people he's met and all the lives he's touched and everything. And it shows up again, and there's even more. And that might be because it's in the extended cut or whatever, but there's even more like scenes of him interacting, and you just kind of think like, what else did they put on the cutting room floor?
He like takes out the knife.
All these different scenes. Yeah. Of all these different scenes that they didn't include in the movie. So Jack White being my number one.
See, my favorite cut scene is in the credits, at least of the extended cut, where Pa Cox pulls the pistol on Dewey.
Yeah.
I don't know why. That always makes me laugh.
Yeah.
For me, though, like cameos, Jack White is number one by far. Yeah. Like, he's so stupidly great as Elvis. I can't even see Elvis as Elvis anymore. In my mind, Jack White in this movie is Elvis for anything I care about. The other one would be Harold Ramis. I kind of have a soft spot for Harold Ramis in anything that he pops up in, but I mean the entire cast of rabbis, like Harold Ramis, Martin Starr, and then later Simon Helberg is one of them too. He plays Dreidel L'Chaim, which I think is a great name because, you know, why not? The entire group of rabbis I think is really funny, and I think it's great how they make the joke about, because it's that old joke that, you know, the Jews run media and whatnot, and they just really like run with it for this movie, and it's stupid but funny. Greg, you got any negatives for this movie? Anything that you don't like about it?
I do. So for me, the start of the movie was a little tough, I think. As ridiculous as a movie it is, the opening scene is just absolutely ridiculous. And I feel like it might not grab a lot of people at the beginning. I mean, I love the beginning with the kids like fucking around and shit, but it's so weird to say it's over the top in this movie that's so over the top the whole time, you know? But I'm saying it. It's got to come back down to earth a little bit.
It's understandable. I mean, he does have a machete fight.
What's wrong with that? More movies should have machete fights.
That's true. How about you, Sean? You got any negatives for this?
I know Greg mentioned it and he liked it, but I'm the Beatles representation. I'm not like a huge Beatles fan anyways, but I don't really generally like Jason Schwartzman in most things. So him doing that whole Ringo Starr, like I'm not like the Beatles don't need any defending, and especially not from me. Like, I'm not your guy to defend the Beatles at all, but I just, after a while, like Jack Black as Paul all the people who play the different people, like Jack Black is Paul McCartney, Paul Rudd is John Lennon.
He's impish and whimsical.
Yeah.
Jason Schwartzman is Ringo, and Justin Long as
Harrison.
Yeah, George Harrison. Jesus. Yeah, that's how much I like the Beatles.
I thought aesthetically, like they looked the part, but their accents were terrible for sure.
Yeah, they're like over the top.
They were all over the place. Yeah,
and they're supposed to be that way, but I just can't. And then the animated part was just
that was a little too
shittily
much.
done.
Yeah,
it was just like, oh man, really? Like, it was just a downer for me to have that part in there because it was just so. It's weird because the movie, there's so much about the movie that is over the top anyways, and that's just like another level on top of over the top. You know, it's over the top. So it's, I don't know, it's just too much for me. It was. They turned the cat backwards and they slammed the arm down. I was just like, all right, I'm good. That's really my only dislike. I really enjoyed the movie other than that.
For me, like, the one thing I would say I dislike, and I don't think I minded it so much the first like 1,000 times I saw it, but over the years, I don't like this, and it's probably because I don't like who I'm about to say. I could do without Jonah Hill playing the ghost of his brother. Like, Jonah Hill kind of fucking annoys me in general. I know he's doing Jonah Hill's, like, I'm kind of fat and angry thing in this movie, like, that he did for the first, like, decade of his career. He was either fat and stupid or fat and angry or both. I don't know. He's the one.
Why are you body shaming?
Thing, like, I mean, I'm not exactly thin, so I don't know. He's the one thing that the more that anytime that I watch it, like, I don't do it because I'm usually too lazy or too something else to, like, get up and fast forward it or whatever. But those are the scenes that I'm like, I don't know. I feel like anyone else playing Jonah Hill's character, whatever his brother's name is, I'm not even remembering at the moment. I would have been just fine with someone else playing him who's not Jonah Hill. But
I can see that.
Yeah. Anything you're on the fence about? Either of you?
I mean, for me, not really. I mean, there's so much to like about the movie. Tipping my hand here on what my personal final verdict is going to be, because I feel like you guys don't really like the movie, so I'm kind of trying to hedge my bets here. But like, for me personally, it's very much, there's a lot they do right and very little for me, even after hearing so much about the movie and avoiding it for so long because of a poster, because I'm that kind of guy. I don't really have anything on the fence, like, that I'm on the fence about. And seeing the extended cut, like, not even realizing that there was a shorter version. It's like, oh yeah, I felt like the movie was a little long, but I don't know what they could cut out. And it's now that I know that there's a shorter version, I'm kind of curious to see all the stuff that they did cut out.
From what I remember, the majority of the stuff that gets cut out is around his variety show and like the 70s stuff when he's on his, I guess it'd be his second or third downward spiral. Like the stuff after he's on PCP, but before he's got his sense of smell back. essentially.
When he's bending all the forks and the knives.
Yeah.
That brings me to another question then for you guys. Like, what is your favorite era of Dewey Cox in the movie?
I mean, that's a cop out. I like his punk rock era because he invented it by discovering
It is
cocaine.
so short, though. Yeah, that's an amazing scene, but it is so short. Like, I really was hoping that would get explored a little bit more because the song,
Sure.
reimagined as the punk version, is awesome. Like, that's such a great song.
I mean, I'm no longer smoking PCP and mainlining acid anymore. Like, I love like
It's a good line, too.
like the 70s variety stuff and like when he's just getting insane. Basically,
Hey,
like
kids,
after
I'm not
acid.
on PCP.
Yeah. Or his Bob Dylan phase as well. Probably like the Bob Dylan phase or the
Yeah, that's
acid
another
phase.
good one. The Bob Dylan phase is really sold with Tim Meadows being like, you guys are idiots.
Yeah.
This song is really deep. That sells the Bob Dylan scene so much.
Yeah.
I'm kind of sad if the shorter cut all the 70s stuff, because I thought that was amazing. Like, all the singing, all the songs, all the covers of like the 70s era, even the Walk Hard like disco version.
No, that's all on there. Like the David Bowie
is it?
stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's in there, but it's in there in like a compressed like montage
Yes.
form.
Yes.
In the theatrical cut where you get to see all of it in the extended cut. And you're right, it is a little long, but it doesn't feel long. Like I can't think of a time where I've watched this movie and like, yeah, I know this is like a 2-hour commitment, but I've never like sat here and watched checked or been like, God, let's fucking move this. You're entertained from start to finish. Or at least I'm entertained from start to finish.
No doubt.
And Greg, I have to remind you that is a big statement coming from the guy who, if it's like over an hour and a half, he's like, oh, it's an hour and a half. I don't know if I can do this.
It's true.
I saw the movie was an hour and 31 minutes, and I'm like, fuck this shit. Can't do it.
Wouldn't be the first, won't be the last.
Hey folks, Sean here. Are you a horror fan? Get your fix with the LK the Horror Nerd podcast. Step into the world of spine-tingling thrills, chilling tales, and deep dives into everything horror with the LK the Horror Nerd podcast. Hosted by the incredible Lorelei Kerouac, this show offers a fresh, inclusive perspective on the genre we all know and love. Each episode is a unique mix of movie reviews, TV show breakdowns, book recommendations, video game critiques, and more. With insightful discussions, expert interviews, and a passionate take on horror news, LK the Horror Nerd brings the spooky straight to your ears. Whether you're into blood-curdling scares or thoughtful genre analysis, LK the Horror Nerd has something for you. You can check out LK and the other fine podcasts at yourunpodcast.com.
Well, I don't want to wrap up yet because we haven't been on that long. So I have a bunch of random questions generated by AI, which everyone hates. So, Greg, these are all pointed at you. Sean, chime in if you want. So we're going to just go with this. So, Greg, do you think Dewey Cox would have been a successful artist in today's music industry?
Yes. I feel like Dewey Cox would have sold out no matter what. He would have done whatever it takes. Yeah, I guess he is kind of a sellout. He's ready to. I don't want to call. I feel bad calling Dewey Cox a sellout. I'm just saying he would adjust and do it. He would be successful.
It's such a hard. That's a really hard question to answer because he's not a real person. I mean, even though we have real footage of him at the end of the movie, he's not a real person. So it's hard to say if he would he could exist because, well, we have all these people that are just like him.
John C. Reilly did do a live music tour as Dewey Cox in character to promote this movie.
Yeah, he sings all the song, which is awesome.
Yeah. He's like, I never realized that he was he had that kind of vocal talent.
Also, it did end with a freeze frame as well, too. I know you don't like those.
I was waiting for you to be mad about that.
I saw 2 freeze frames. I was like, oh, shit, there's 2 of them.
Oh, shit. This guy's going to hate this fucking movie. So when he did the promotional tour for Dewey Cox, did he play the older Dewey Cox, like, in makeup?
I've only seen pictures. I unfortunately did not get to see it. I don't even know if he came anywhere remotely close to here. No clue.
But he did like appearances on shows and stuff. From what I was reading on Wikipedia, like he had done like I think the Today Show or one of the morning shows. And
I mean, let's be realistic here. Dewey Cox pretty much looks like John C. Reilly, and when I saw him, he basically looked like Dewey Cox or John C. Reilly, but not in the like 50s or 60s gear, just like wearing button-down shirt.
Regular
he had
clothes.
He He had the Dewey Cox guitar, so I mean that counts, I guess. But I've
wanted
only
to-
seen pictures. I haven't seen it.
I wanted to point out that it's, John C. Reilly plays Dewey Cox from about what, like age
Yeah.
15 or 16?
That's my 14-year-old son.
8. Yeah, he plays him for like
I think
teenage
it's
or so.
yeah, I think it's 14 because when she first sees him when he's
Yeah.
grown up, he's like in the high school band. She's like, "That's my 14-year-old son."
Dewey's 12-year-old girlfriend.
Yeah,
It probably never gets mentioned on anything that talks about Dewey Cox, but the makeup, the way that they age them, is actually pretty good. Like Jenna Fischer
Yeah.
comes on as like a, I don't know, 30-year-old or probably late 20s or whatever. And the makeup doesn't look shitty. It doesn't take you out of the fact that these guys are old, which is pretty amazing for a movie like this.
I don't think it looks. The only time I think the makeup looks shitty is on Jenna Fischer in the very last scene when they're all on stage and she's like
Yeah.
being the backup singer again. She looks like she's wearing an old lady Jenna Fischer suit in that particular scene, but they don't like you really have to like look for her in it because I don't think they even like get close up on her in that scene. They show the rest of the band, but I don't think they really focus on her much.
The only part from watching that I found unbelievable is that this like whatever 70-year-old woman's gonna be wearing high heels and like dancing
Yeah, that
around
too.
while she's singing. That was the only part, but I didn't think the makeup looked bad. It was just like the mannerisms of someone that's that age.
So next up, which of Dewey's musical phases, rock, country, psychedelic, do you think was his best? Greg, I think we already asked this. So.
well, that was my favorite.
We're
I
doing
think
it
his
again.
best would be his rock phase, if that's going to be his like Walk Hard and Guilty as Charged, because Guilty as Charged is a fucking banger.
I agree with. I see. I think that's like his flamenco phase.
That's
I
a great-
would consider his country phase Walk Hard.
Okay, yeah, all right.
But Sean, which do you think is his best?
The punk phase is the best. It's so short, but it is so great. It's something you could listen to like over and over again.
I do enjoy him being sampled in a hip hop song. That's kind of
Oh yeah,
Yeah. I guess if we were going like mining the well for something that to dislike, Jules yodeling is like, I mean, I'm never a big fan of that. And I was like, oh my God, do we have to do this? This is like the tropey thing that you're known for.
I agree with you. I don't like that, but I think it's good that they put it in the movie because as 100% the type of bullshit that you see at one of these
Yes.
like Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremonies.
It'd be encouraged for her to yodel.
It feels, very fitting to have like Jewel and Ghostface Killah on the same stage singing a fucking country song. Yeah, that makes sense.
And she's yodeling while they're doing it.
Of course. So,
Why not?
Greg, do you think Dewey Cox truly learned from his mistakes?
I do. I think it all hit us at the end with the song of The Beautiful Ride. And, sometimes you got to sit down and smell the flowers, and if that's the saying. And I think he did. Once he got his sense of smell back, He learned from having 36
Smell the
kids.
shit.
Little dewdrop,
So, Sean, unless
Smell
you're
that
gonna,
shit, baby.
Sean, unless you're gonna piggyback on that, I'm gonna like go right into the next question because we brought up kids. How would you describe Dewey Cox's parenting style?
Non-existent.
Yeah.
I mean, until the end, right?
I'd tell about midway.
Midway in what?
figures it out.
He has to learn how to throw a ball. I was really surprised that Dewey would know how to throw a ball.
I love that he calls the one kid out for not knowing how to catch a fucking ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You really suck at this.
Yeah, and he's also like, are you sure you're
Dewdrop.
one of mine?
So, Greg, how would you describe his parenting style with all this in mind?
Neglectful? It's kind of like, he's going grocery shopping and his kids are in the hot car,
He's the one they made all those warnings for. Like, did you check every seat in this car?
Yeah. Meanwhile, he's on PCP in the bathroom and at your local Hannaford, which is our local grocery store. I don't know.
If Dewey Cox had only chosen one drug, which would have been the one that most ruined his career? I think this is an easy answer, but
I think it was the acid that ruined his career because all of a sudden he just became the ultimate producer. He had like a whole orchestra and he needed an army of didgeridoos. I mean, didgeridoos are great. but
PCP.
You don't need I guess PCP.
nothing good comes from PCP.
No sinks are safe.
No, nothing's safe. There's no good time that comes from PCP. I can vouch. So LSD can be fun. PCP, not so much.
I was going to say pills from the way that he reacts with pills, but I think Greg swayed me. I'm acid because it derailed his career. It was like so many years that he was like
Jumping on the
dedicated
trampoline.
yeah, jumping on the tramp for like 3 days and trying to figure out
You
these
guys
songs
say
that
it
were
to-
like multi-layered.
You say it derailed his career, but he looked like he was having a good time. He was happy. He was jumping on
Well,
his trampoline.
I mean, I've got a great career, but I've got a much better personal life, right? Like they're not the same thing.
Yeah.
Eh, I guess. Was Darlene Madison Cox the true star of the movie?
Darlene? No, she
I
ruined.
think
She
the answer's
ruined.
yeah.
She ruined everything. She was,
Darlene?
yeah. She forced him to.
She ruined everything.
She forced him to cheat. No, I'm just kidding. No, Dewey Cox. It just. I mean, they're obviously trying to paint her like what's her name from Walk the Line, and I know she was kind of. They had like a toxic
June Carter
relationship.
Cash?
Even though I know Johnny Cash was the more toxic of the two, but I think they were like kind of like water and gasoline. They just didn't go together,
I don't know if I agree with that. I think Dewey was on his own path and that it didn't matter who it was, but fair enough.
He was better off with Edith. He would have had like 70,
I don't know.
70 kids.
Yeah, and like 15 houses made out of candy.
Yeah.
So,
45 giraffes.
only 45?
I think it's fair to say
mean-
chimps ruin everything.
I did watch Chimp Crazy, so eventually I agree with you. So
Yeah.
maybe
You can
not
only
for a
keep them
while,
for
but
so
eventually.
long. Yeah.
Right.
Juvenile chimps are okay, but when they get to be adults.
We won't keep you too much longer. I got 2 more questions we'll rattle off, and then we'll wrap up on the best side character. Doesn't have to be a cameo necessarily, just best side character.
For me, it's got to be Chris Parnell. Again, I love Chris Parnell. Great voice. Great side character in everything he's in.
Sean, do you got one you want to add on this?
I mean, I don't have any argument. Chris Parnell is great as the bassist. He plays the stand-up. He plays the bass guitar. I mean, he's got it covered.
I would go with Tim Meadows, which is rare. I usually am pretty like milquetoast on Tim Meadows. Like I could take him or leave him. He doesn't usually stand out to me, but I think he really nailed it in this particular. And last question before we wrap up here. And Sean, I expect you to weigh in on this too. But Greg, do you think that Dewey Cox ever actually walked hard?
I mean, you got to get to the top of the mountain. You got to walk hard. And did he get to the top of the mountain? That's the question. I think he did. And I think he walked pretty hard. Maybe a little medium, but definitely hard-ish.
Sean?
If you talk the talk, you got to walk the walk. So I think that he did it. I mean, he lived it. He loved it. He sung it. So yeah, for sure. He walked hard.
I mean, the man cut his brother in half with a machete, cut his father in half with a machete, did a whole lot of drugs and banged a whole lot of women. If that's not walking hard, I don't know what is. So with that in mind, let's fire up the grill and let's wrap this up.
Then you're in for a big treat, bro, because it's hot dog time.
So Greg, you're the guest. You get to bat lead off on this one. I'm going to go ahead and ask you, give us your closing thoughts. Tell us everything you want to tell us about Dewey Cox and let us know if you think it's worth watching, not worth watching. You can rate it however you want. We don't really care.
I don't know if anybody could tell I love this movie. When I play on my PlayStation, my gamer tag is Dewey Cox. So
Nice.
I love spoof
How long have
movies.
you had that? How long have you had that tag that you could grab
So
Dewey Cox as a tag?
Well, so it's Dewey C hyphen 0. I had to use 0 because I couldn't put Cox because it was offensive. But it used to be Chicken Teriyaki Boy from Curb Your Enthusiasm. So now it's Dewey Cox.
I gotta say, between your email address and some of your screen names, you might have the best handles of anyone that I've met in my entire existence.
I just got my job with that email. My girlfriend's like, "You use that email for your job?" I was like, "Yeah, why not?"
Anyway, I interrupted you.
It's all
So
good.
your thoughts on Dewey Cox?
Again, whether it be Spaceballs, whether it be Walk Hard, this movie to me is top tier spoof. I'm going to mention this one again. It's Pop Star. Never Stop, Never Stopping. It is pretty much equal to Walk Hard. Walk Hard will be here, and it's there. If you like Lonely Island, yes, but Tim Meadows is also in that. But if you haven't seen Walk Hard, you got to see Walk Hard 2007. Fantastic spoof comedy. John C. Reilly. He's a triple threat. He's got the comedy, he's got the looks, and he's got the drama. And I give it a
he
full
can
hot
sing.
dog. Full hot dog. The best hot dog. You take the roll, you put a little bit of butter on it, toast up that roll. You know, I don't know what you like, ketchup, mustard, relish. Get it all in there.
Well, I like it. You're even giving us hot dog preparation
Yes.
tactics. Perfect.
Whose hot dog is this, huh? Is it yours?
Sean, why don't you go ahead and go bat middle or whatever?
I have to say, I have never heard anyone on this show reference another movie in their like whole closing thought kind of thing. Oh yeah, recommendations. This other thing. So I got to give it up to Greg. I appreciate that. I have to say I love the self-awareness of the movie. It feels like it's way ahead of the time of its time, which I mentioned earlier. You know, when this movie came out, we only had really 2 or 3 music biopics that had come out, and now we have 2 or 3 that come out like every year. So this one feels like it was the beginning of this huge trend. John C. Reilly, you know, he like Greg said, he's a multi-threat, right? He can act, he can sing, and he can do other stuff. I guess that's the other part of it. You know, I had no clue that he was this good of a singer, so no pun intended, but this movie hits so many good notes. I had never seen anything but the extended cut. This is the first time I'd seen it. So 2 hours, it seemed like it was just the right runtime. I don't know how they could cut it down to an hour and 36. I gave it a full hot dog as someone who hadn't seen it before. I definitely see myself watching it again. I want to go back and watch the actual like theatrical cut so I can see what the difference is. But I just really enjoyed the movie. This is, yeah, absolutely one hot dog for me.
Whose hot dog is this, huh? Is it yours?
We really need a third hot dog drop for when we have a guest on, don't we?
Yeah, I know. It's a little stale. We need to find a movie where they say something about a hot dog.
Yeah. So, anyone who's listening, if you know a movie other than, what was that? Out for Justice? What fucking movie was that?
Yeah. Out
So
for
other
Justice.
than Out for Justice or the other hot dog drop that we have, please, I can't even think of what they are now. Let
Maybe
us
we can
know.
do Point Break, like Utah, give me 2.
You just read my mind, man.
Yeah.
I was going to say that.
I mean,
Same-
he's talking
same
about a meatball
wavelength.
sub, though.
He
It's a
is.
meatball sub.
Yeah,
though.
but you
Not
don't. Nobody knows that. They don't know that's what he's talking about. Utah,
I mean,
give me
if
2.
they've seen Point Break, they probably do.
You can just
I'm
edit
guessing
it
this
in.
guy here does.
You can edit in
So
2 hot dogs. Utah, give me 2.
There we go.
Hot dogs.
I love this movie. Like this movie, start to finish, there's very little like negative. If the only thing I can say is I'm tired of seeing Jonah Hill in it, well, I'm tired of seeing Jonah Hill in pretty much anything. So that's really not that big of a shock. I think the jokes are really well written. There's a lot of comedy in this that's kind of slapsticky and stupid, but there's a lot of comedy that's kind of nuanced and really well written and delivered in a really good way too. It has a good balance with that. The songs are a lot of fun. Yeah, they're parodying and ripping off some other song. Doesn't matter. They work really well, not just for the movie, but as a song. John C. Reilly is a fucking legend. Like, just he's great. Like, I don't care what movie's in. I like John C. Reilly, and I think this is among his best roles. And if nothing else, I would sit through this entire 2-hour movie just to watch Jack White play Elvis for another 30 seconds. So this movie gets a full Detroit style Coney dog, all the chili, all the mustard, all the onions. It's up there with some of the other movies that we've ranked really highly. Like I genuinely love this movie. So yeah, if you like silly, stupid stuff, if you haven't seen this or if you have seen it, watch it again. Side note, it's more fun if you enjoy it with substances than if you watch it sober. So if you've seen it sober, watch it when you're fucked up. You'll have more fun.
A 3 hot dog movie.
It is. I don't know if we have another full 3 hot dog movie.
T2.
Oh, T2. Yeah, that's fair. That was recent. So
Well deserved.
anyway, yeah, that one's got some good stuff in it. So, Greg, the floor is yours. I want you to take a second, tell everyone anything you want about all the projects that you're involved with, wherever they can find them. I know. Well, yeah, whatever you want to say. Talk your ear off.
Yeah, you can eat that crust podcast. We're all over the place as far as like Spotify, Apple Pod, YouTube. Obviously, we are part of the You Run podcast network as well. I've been working with Justin as well on a slice of pop culture, and we do episodes monthly. And like I said, with You Can Eat That Crust, we're doing comedy, we're doing true crime, we're doing it all. We're walking as hot as we can.
We'll link everything for where you can find all of Greg's projects, Pop Culture Reflections podcast. You Can Eat That Crust. Flip the order so Ryan doesn't yell at me because he will. They're great. I listen to both shows on a regular basis and strongly recommend that you do too. For us, we're on all the social networks. You can find us at Dewey Pod Monster, or in the case of Blue Sky, at Crap.town. We do ask that you give us a follow. Normally we do a question of the week, but because we had a guest this week, we didn't do that. But that's where where I post them on a normal weekly basis, aside from the last almost month at this point. Of course, we are proud members of the You Run Podcast Network. You can find all of our old episodes and all of our new episodes and all the other great shows on the You Run Podcast Network at yourunpodcast.com. We ask when you're there, please do check out another show other than whoever you went there for in the first place, because all the other shows there are great and deserve your attention. Sean, what am I forgetting? It's been a while. I'm sure I forgot a bunch of shit.
Oh my God. I don't know what you forgot, but I was going to say, to answer the question of the week, when we have a question of the week, you can find us on social media at Dewey Pod Monster on all the places that John cares about. You can go there and check out the question of the week, add it if you want it read on the show. When we do it, we'll read it if you write it. If it meets the snuff, what is that? What is this? Meets the snuff. If it lives up to the snuff,
I feel like meets the snuff is the new phrase.
Yeah.
If it meets the snuff, we'll read it on. John will read it poorly on the show, whatever. This is the hardest working show notes in the business. So all the stuff that we talk about on the show are in the show notes. Click those links. If they say Amazon, we get a small portion of that. It helps pay the bills. It doesn't pay a lot of bills, but it pays some of them. If you want to follow me, I'm on Blue Sky exclusively. I'm at internalbleeding.crap.town. And I post stupid little video clips of stupid little movies that I've watched in my stupid own time. And other than that, if you want to follow the show, yeah, there's stuff you can do to do that. We're available at crap.town. That's our website.
We're a train wreck. We love stupid clips. We love You Gonna Eat That Crust. We love Greg. We want you to come back. Listen to us. Listen to Greg. Listen to whoever the fuck you want, but listen to Greg first. And we'll be back next week with some more bullshit. Cheers.
Bird season's over, Budhorn.
Bye bye.